When you conduct your investigations, if you should find discrimination in the pay for domestic workers, what do you plan to do? Put them on strike?
No. I think we're going to seek the assistance of the Greater Dallas Community Relation Commission to lend their expertise in this field. We feel that we have enough local organizations here to eradicate whatever problem we may find between the employer and employees. We're not trying to build up emotion. If we wanted to emotionalize people, we know how to do that. But this, to me, is not the point. We're not here to do that. We're here to do a job. We're here to take whatever time is necessary. Dallas is a great city. We want to keep it that way, but we're going to solve this problem without building up a whole lot of emotions.
Well, we had gotten a call to that residence, a disturbance, and I walked up the sidewalk to the house and knocked on the door, and somebody opened it, and it was so dark inside I couldn't see them, and so I didn't step up on the porch, but stepped around towards more of the front of it, and when I saw him come out, he had that shotgun in his hand, and I just asked if he had called, and then that's when he shot.
Are those the only words that transpired between you?
I just asked, did you call?
What did he look like when you first saw him? Did he look mad or crazed or calm or what?
I don't really remember, because I was more interested in watching his hands for a gun. But we were already so close that I didn't have time to protect myself against that gun.
But there wasn't any outward sign that you noticed at the time that he might pull that gun up and shoot?
No.
When he started pulling up that shotgun, what did you try to do in that moment?
When I saw it coming, I tried to reach for my holster, but it was just you might say, a hair of a second. It was all over.
Did you pass out completely after you were shot?
No.
What were you thinking as you were lying there on the ground in front of that house?
My wife, my 2 sons.
The federal prison here at Seagoville is an open prison. That is to say that the fences and walls around it are generally for keeping trespassers out rather than keeping prisoners in. One of their new innovative programs is a halfway house, a program that'll be held in downtown Dallas. Some 15 prisoners will be kept in the downtown Dallas area and will be able to go to and from jobs that they'll have in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We talked with the warden, Elwood Tofts, about this program.
Well, in the Federal Bureau of Prisons, we term them community treatment centers. I think they're regarded by the public as being halfway houses, and this is essentially what they are, because they represent a transitional point from institutional living to community living. In our whole system of criminal justice, we've really been running a conveyor belt system, and we've been process-oriented, and I think we have to get a good deal more people-oriented. This is really what we're trying to do within these centers, is develop a real close working relationship with the individual so that he has some confidence in us, and we in turn know him better and can provide some assistance to it.
Malcolm Landis at Seagoville Prison for Channel 8 News on the Move.
It's tax time here at the House of Representatives. Representative Ben Atwell of Dallas, chairman of the House Revenue and Taxation Committee, has put together a new package which in effect increases the sales tax to 4% and also broadens the sales tax or equivalent taxes to include admissions to professional sports, amusement establishments, movies, to include barber and beauty shops, telephone and telegraph services, motor vehicles, and hotels. Also included in the package is a surcharge on the corporation franchise tax. The real secret, apparently, to passage of a tax bill in this legislature is going to be some balance between what are called corporation taxes and what are called consumer taxes. We asked Representative Atwell how he thinks this package will fare.
I think we can get this package through the House of Representatives. I feel like in the final analysis, it'll raise something over $600 million. Now, as to its chances in the Senate, I certainly wouldn't want to predict.
On the other side of the Capitol building, the Senate State Affairs Committee indicated that it was going to accept a bill substituted in the subcommittee last night for Senator Ralph Hall's rather strong Code of Ethics proposal. Hall's reaction is that the substitute is even weaker than present Code of Ethics legislation, which is practically non-existent, and he expressed great concern over the loss of key provisions that should be in any meaningful Code of Ethics legislation.
I just don't believe that the State Affairs Committee nor the Senate wants to just completely delineate the entire bill, take out all of the standards of conduct, take out all of the public revelation of your and disclosures of your acquisitions, what your status financially is. I think these are things that peculiarly the people of this state are interested in now.
Jim Ferguson had one of his better games last night.
Well, he did, Jerry. You know, there were many other kids that had good games, too. But it seemed to all ball down late in the game. Baylor was coming on. The crowd was going wild. My kids seemed to be losing a little of their poise. And every time Jimmy Ferguson caught the ball, everything seemed to calm down. And he made some beautiful drives late in the game, and most of his points were made late in the game. And he kind of stopped the momentum of Baylor, in my opinion, and we went on to win the game.
You had a pretty good lead there in the first part of the ball game. Then all of a sudden, Baylor came on with a press. What did you do to break this press and maintain your lead?
Well, you know, start the ball game, we're hot as a pistol. Everything we throw up goes in the basket. Baylor can't buy one. Maybe they're a little too tight. Maybe we played good defense on them. Then Baylor does start pressing, and they pick up the ball a couple of times and put it in the basket, and the fans once again are going crazy, and this drives the team over, on and on. And they were playing the press good. We did nothing special. We just tried to move more and bring the big men up into the thing, get the ball to them, and get people down the floor in a hurry.
Without question. Young blacks realize today as never before the importance of the ballot. We all take pride when Kenneth Gibson was elected mayor of Newark, Ross, the superintendent of education in California, and the scores of other blacks elected. And we know why they were elected, and we know the kind of job that they're doing, and we indeed know that it's helping our community.
Behind this fence will be built the plant that's due to purify water from the Cedar Creek Reservoir for the citizens of Fort Worth. The treatment plant will take up over $5 million out of that $7.6 million bond money. It's going to cost considerably more than that, but there are other funds available, including federal monies, to complete the job. The Tarrant County Water District is already constructing a massive 70-mile pipeline to carry water from Cedar Creek to Fort Worth. This is where it'll all end up. From here, it'll be piped all over the city, primarily to the south and east sides. This land used to belong to the Public Health Service Hospital until Loop 820 caught it off from the main part of the hospital property. The city acquired it in the early 60s for the water project. Plans have already been drawn up for the construction of the plant. The city will advertise for bids next week and receive those bids early in April. By the time the pipeline is finished, the plant should be complete, and Fort Worth should no longer have to hold its breath and pray for rain. At least not as often. Jay Lewis, Channel 8 News on the Move, Fort Worth.
To attend a softball game. He was removed to the U.S., and he is being held at an undisclosed location in the city of Dallas. He, too, appeared at 9 o'clock this morning. However, his attorney did not appear, and Judge Sarah Hughes continued his arraignment until March 4th. From the U.S. Federal Courthouse, this is Jim Mitchell, Channel 8 News on the Move.
Well, it certainly is a pleasure to receive an award of any type in football. It's different awards, Southwest Conference, Kern Tips, but I tell you, this rates right up there at the top with every one of them, especially with the Kern Tips. I feel very fortunate to have received these two awards this year, and especially after being hurt like I was, and it is certainly a very big honor in my among the honors that I have received, especially because of what it stands for.
Linda, it was last fall that I talked to Bill in the hospital, and he mentioned his wedding plans. Did everything go off all right?
Yes, they did. Exciting. We had an exciting honeymoon, too.
Are you looking forward now to life as the wife of a football coach or a professional football player?
I'm just looking forward to being his wife. I don't care what he does.
Bill, are you going to give professional football a crack?
Yes, sir, Jerry. I feel like I'd like to give it a try. I don't feel like I would be able to live with myself if I didn't, if you know what I mean. I don't feel like I could really, I don't know how to explain. It's just something I've always wanted to do, and I couldn't live with myself if I didn't really give it a try. And I want to, and I think that I can make it.
To the city government, requesting that they legislate hunger through city legislation. Monday, March 1st, 1971, we will request from the city council city legislation on hunger, along with a crash city employment program to deal with the lack of minority employment in the city of Dallas.
Well, yes, I think we have. But we haven't had it quite so badly, because I think I can say that our environmentalists have taken a little more trouble in trying to find out the facts, rather than build their argument and their case on hearsay and what they want to believe instead of the facts.
In capsulized form, what are the facts as far as this aircraft is concerned?
Well, as far as the environment is concerned and the effect it will have on the environment, the aircraft will produce nothing more and nothing greater than present subsonic jets.
We think very well, since it is more or less a venture into the unknown. Referral is the only public-supported nationwide man-job matching system in existence. And it being something new, we had to take many compromise steps, or as I said, steps into the unknown. We know that it is working well because of the number of people who have been hired through the system, the number of employers who are using the system, and the number of resumes provided to employers.
A newsman is called on to cover many assignments, talking to the President of the United States, covering crime, and many other things all the way in between. But today is a different type of experience for me because I've never covered a dental assignment. Today we're going to talk to Dr. Martin Dennis, who is a different type of dentist, you might say. What exactly is your specialty?
Well, I'm a veterinarian, a graduate veterinarian, and my practice is limited to wild animals. We don't treat any of the domestics, such as dogs and cats, cattle and horses.
Now, you cover a wide range of things in your daily work. Today, I think you had something unusual besides the operation which we're going to see in just a moment.
That's right. We removed a tumor from an elephant today and treated a full-grown lion that had a blockage of the tear duct from a wound which caused an abscess. And we've worked on a few of the vultures on the compound.
Is working with wild animals like this really any different than working with children?
Well, when it comes to the chimpanzee, it's pretty close. And all we use basically now is two instruments, an elevator and an extractor. Now we don't, individual chimps vary. Sometimes this is done under a general anesthetic. Open. And sometimes it's done under a local like this. We'll just see how he tolerates this. Put your head down. Head down, please. No. Come here. Just like all kids, huh? So. We'll try it with the extractor. There we go. That's it. Come here. Let me see. There it is. A reward. And this is good and cold. Probably stop the bleeding a little bit here. You want that? Huh? You want that? Huh? Ooh, this feels good, huh? Come on, take it. Eat up. Eat it. Oh boy. It's a little cold. He's a little sensitive on that area yet. Eat up. Come on. That's good. Boy.
Well, the majority of the Senate found Mr. DeBusk lacking in character and ability, and his confirmation was rejected.
Was this based on his personal activity, or would this be a slap at the coordinating board action in general recently?
Of course, I can't speak for anyone but myself. I voted against Mr. DeBusk's confirmation because I felt he did not possess the necessary character and qualifications for the job. Well, some of the members of the Senate were opposed to his effort to raise state tuition or tuition in state-supported colleges and universities. Some of them were opposed to some of his policies concerning the University of Texas at Dallas. This and some personal objections to some of the members of the Senate.
We would like to thank all the individuals, organizations, and concerned people who worked so diligently in the fight against hunger and malnutrition. But 6 months later, we find the situation just as tragic, just as critical as it was 6 months ago. Therefore, we have concluded that the agencies and the piecemeal programs are so limited and restricted that not only can they not alleviate the problem of hunger, but can't even make a dent. One can go as far as to say that the problem has increased rather than decreased. Even Glenn Coker, director of the Dallas County Welfare, admits that there has been a 100% increase in the number of people that have come for assistance to his offices. Therefore, considering all of these facts, we of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference have concluded that new strategies and a different effort must take place. Although we recommit and rededicate ourselves to the problems of hunger, we must also admit that the problem is so mammoth and so deeply rooted that we cannot alleviate it.
The revenue sharing concept, as I get it, that the president is submitting, he's putting about $11 million of these categorical grants and what we knew as grant NAs. I doubt that too many people are going to view that, especially those in governmental positions, as being revenue sharing at this point.
Well, on my first interview that I had with them, they explained the program to me. They had me fill out some paperwork, and this was forwarded to the gathering point at Wright-Patterson, and I think that the program is in its infancy, and whenever it does get to rolling, I think it will be a fine program.
It was rather a human interest story, to be real frank about it. The invitation came, of course, to the mansion. And I'm sure that all of you know that we have a new grandson now. And my wife decided that she would not go and that we would decline the invitation. She wanted to stay, of course, and to keep the grandbaby, and of course that's what she did. And she wanted to keep the invitation for her scrapbook, which is perfectly normal. Would say, well, that was as far as I was concerned about the end of it. But Monday there was a call came here inquiring as to whether or not I would go, and I was not available. So my secretary advised that she didn't go. She didn't know. So she gave to Larry Teever and Mike McKinney the name and number to call, and of course we got real busy, and I think this can be really explained better a little bit later on, and there was just a failure made to call, but I did not ever accept the invitation.
Mr. Fernandez-Gomez? Hello, can we at least get your plea, sir? That was Fernandez-Gomez, Ellis Fernandez-Gomez, one of two defendants in this conspiracy case. He pleaded not guilty to 2 counts this morning before federal judge Sarah T. Hughes. The first count, to which Mr. Fernandez-Gomez pleaded not guilty, was conspiracy to sell, barter, exchange, give away dangerous drugs, and also conspiracy that he and others, received, concealed, bought the drugs after illegal import. Appearing at the same time with Mr. Fernandez-Gomez was Ulysses Aguilar Vera of Chile. He, too, pleaded not guilty to the same 2 counts. The head man in this operation, alleged by the U.S. Marshals, is a Mr. Gonzalez, Gonzalez of Panama. He was arrested, according to the Panamanian government, illegally when he entered the U.S. zone.